have to push the button?
No.
Oh, all right.
The red light's on. We're ready to go. You're live and on the air.
Good evening and welcome to the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we are live from Studio Vanguard and we've got a ring going on here. We're linked in with the following repeaters.
We are linked in with Flagship, Noonan, McDonough, Toccoa, Rome, Jersey, Columbus, Zebulon, Lula, Ocala, Dallas, Chattanooga, Lookout Mountain, Fort Mountain, Cades Cove, Ottawa, Georgetown, and we are aware of internet outages at White Oak and Watkinsville, which would normally be linked in, and of course our VoIP service, Zello.
Awesome. So tonight our RF coverage is approximately 11.4 trillion cubic miles. This net takes place every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. I would like to thank everyone who has made the North Georgia GMRS the most expansive and active GMRS network in the country. Your net control tonight is WQYR 514, Atlanta 947. My name is Julie.
And Atlanta 946, WQIR 514. My name is Justin.
And I am WRWM 344, Blue Ridge 63. My name is Mike.
Atlanta 750, WRMR 367. My name is Jeff, and we have a special guest in studio.
I'm hanging out with them tonight. This is Atlanta 255, WSAM 586.
On the net, you can talk about your day's activities, radio equipment, or anything you think we would like to hear. This is a family-based network, so we encourage you to get your family involved. Guest check-ins are welcome from anyone with a valid FCC call sign. Once the floor is open, it is permissible to address other members of the net by their name or tactical unit number. Your FCC call sign is only required when you sign in and sign out of the net. Also, you can tune into our YouTube channel and follow along, or even better, tune in after the net to watch your appearance on the network and hear how you sound to us here in Studio Vanguard. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment so we know you were watching. These interactions mean the most to help our new channel grow. Tonight, we're going to be talking about weekend outings. But before we do, let's find out what's going on. It's time for Catch Up with Kate.
This is WRMR 367, Atlanta 751, Kate from high atop Mount Bolesky, live in Studio C with this week's Catch Up with Kate, the latest NGGMRS sauce. GMRS news we can all relish. The next Chattanooga lunch gathering at Champy's in Eastridge will be tomorrow, May 17th at 12 noon. Take exit 1 on 75 and it's a short drive to West 6515 Ringgold Road. You can't miss Champy's on the right. Come hang out with us and enjoy some NGGMRS fellowship. Ronnie and Jim hope to see you all there. The Northeast Bunch will gather at Roosters this month on May 29th. It's easy to find right at the end of 400 in Dahlonega. In other news, we are excited to announce the addition to the North Georgia GMRS net lineup. The Little Miss Radio Net is on the way. This net will be for the ladies of North Georgia GMRS. It will be a net that is held once monthly on Mondays between rabbit hole nets. The first net will take place on June 3rd with check-in starting at 7:30 p.m. Look for information soon as we work towards filling the gap between rabbit hole nets. Exciting stuff is in the making. Let me break. The next Skywarn Net will be on Tuesday, May 21st, and the topic of discussion is what it takes to be a spotter. Be sure to have your computer handy so that you can follow along. Also, please be sure to email us your spotter number if you have one so that we can update our log. Send an email to skywarn@nggmrs.org. Check-ins are expected to participate during these Skywarn nets. More information and training materials can be found at noaa.gov/jetstream. Skywarn training nets are for the Chattanooga region only. If you have an interest in Skywarn and are not located in the Chattanooga area, you can find a local Skywarn group near you. Skywarn nets are held on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. only on the northern segment of the North Georgia GMRS Network. And be sure to tune in Friday night for the Friday at 9 Simplex Challenge. The Simplex Net will be meeting on the ball ground repeater at 8:30. If you have not yet, you should engage in the Simplex exercise and find out what your Simplex coverage is and who your Simplex neighbors are. In the event of a real disaster, this could be vital information, and it's another fun way to engage in radio. Look for more information on Facebook or call out to Atlanta 250-DANA sometime before the challenge for some more details. If you have questions, suggestions, or spicy announcements for us to catch up on, send me a note at kate@nggmrs.org. And please have them in by Tuesday at noon so that we have time to prepare to get your announcement on the air. We are North Georgia GMRS Network. This is WRMR 367, Atlanta 751. My name is Kate, and now back to net control.
All right. Well, that was some good stuff. Oh, I got to push the button down in order for anybody to hear me say what I'm saying. That was good stuff, Kate. Thank you for those announcements. We're all caught up now, I believe.
I hope so.
Was that ketchup or was that barbecue sauce?
Definitely ketchup.
Definitely ketchup. All right. Well, thank you again for all of that. Now, I think it's time for Julie's tips.
Awesome. This is WQIR 514. My name is Julie, and I'm Atlanta 947 with this week's new user tips and operating procedures segment. The sun is shining, birds are singing, trees are blooming, and the weather is beautiful. Let the outdoor adventures begin. I can't think of anything that goes better hand in hand than weekend outings and GMRS radio. And in this week's new user tips and operating procedures, I'll explain to you why. Many of us are planning for hiking, biking, boating, four-wheeling, camping trips, etc. We spend lots of time preparing for that perfect getaway, but how much time do you spend on thinking about being prepared for an emergency situation? Think about it. You could be out on the trail hiking with your family and your group gets separated. Maybe someone in the group gets tired while others want to keep going. Or kids take off away from camp and get lost. Or what if part of your group goes four-wheeling and the four-wheeler flips and you need to get help fast? This is where basic radio skills come into play. And this is why getting your family familiar with operating a radio is important. Practice radio etiquette and help your family members get over their fear of speaking into a mic before your adventures begin. When planning outdoor adventures, consider purchasing quality GMRS radios that you can pass out to multiple members of your family. Remember, one GMRS license covers your entire family. Plan for simplex operations in the field or in the woods, but be aware of what repeaters effectively cover the areas your adventures will be taking place in. Understand the environment you'll be operating in, and be aware of the limitations that may bring to two-way radio. For instance, dense forest and rugged terrain may reduce your range. Let me break. Always be sure your radios are properly programmed and fully charged. Be sure to read your manual to learn how to program your radio. And if you still have questions, our Facebook page is the best place to ask. Consider packing spare batteries and chargers. Being properly prepared can turn a good outdoor adventure into a great one. These are just a few of the preferred practices of North Georgia GMRS members, and these procedures are how we become the best operators on the nation's largest, most advanced linked repeater network. And remember, if you have any questions or suggestions for new user tips and operating procedures, send me a note at julie@nggmrs.org. We are North Georgia GMRS Network, and this is WQIR 514, Atlanta 947. My name is Julie. Back to Net Control.
Well, that was good stuff, and you know, there's lots of points to cover there, and you know, one of the things that that we should look at is, you know, brand new users may not be, and we get this a lot. This is a real common question that comes up: is how do I program my radio? Well, which radio do you have? There are so many new radios out there on the market now. It's just crazy trying to keep up with all of the possible variations in radios and how to program them. So your new radio comes with a manual, and that manual will tell you how to program CTCSS or DCS tones for repeater access. So you'll have to look at the manual. But there's more to it than that. For instance, what tones do you program? Well, there's a chart on our website that shows what the various tones are for each of our repeaters. We also have an interactive map that should help you to identify which repeaters are closest to you. And once you've got your radio properly programmed, when you key that radio and make a test transmission, you should see the icon on the map light up, showing that you actually have accessed that repeater.
Maybe you should break. The other thing that we should probably quickly explain for new users out there, they probably don't know the difference between simplex and repeaters. So how would you explain that to somebody who's new?
Well, that's a great point. And yeah, I think that's also a very good question for brand new people that are into GMRS. Folks sometimes find us just by turning the radio on and scanning across the channels. So if that's what's happened and you don't quite understand how repeaters work or how simplex works, simplex is basically communication from one radio directly to another radio. But with a repeater, instead of one radio talking directly to another radio, your radio is programmed to talk to a repeater and listen to that repeater. And the other user's radio is also programmed to talk to and listen to that repeater. So you can extend your range considerably just by accessing a repeater. And instead of just having the short range of a mile or 2 or 3 with a couple of handhelds, your range can be literally a couple of 100 miles from Columbus, Georgia to Knoxville, Tennessee through the linked repeater network. So the repeater operation greatly extends your range because you're taking your one small radio and putting your signal into a mix of some very large and powerful repeaters to send your signal over a much greater distance.
However, if you're down in a hole or you are covered up by trees, the repeater network is probably not going to be your best option. That is something where you're going to have to get up high, get away from all the obstacles that are in your way to be able to hit that repeater. So if you needed help with a search and rescue team or something, you're probably not going to reach them if you're down low or in thick woods or what have you. That's where the simplex radio to radio is going to be a better option with communicating with your family members.
Yeah, and that's good stuff. And also consider you could be operating in a combination of that scenario. So you may have simplex contact with somebody who's down in the valley while you're up on a ridge, and then you can switch over to the repeater to relay and convey messages if you're trying to organize some sort of a rescue or get some kind of help for an emergency. You can have somebody get to coverage for a repeater and still be in simplex range down the hill. So you may need to operate in that combination of modes in order to engage in that kind of an operation. So definitely have your radios with you for these activities, these outdoor activities we engage in the summertime. And yeah, be prepared to send somebody up to the top of the ridge with a radio that they can maybe get the repeater from there.
Good stuff.
And, you know, while you're out there in the woods or you're out there hiking in a field, wherever you might be, outdoors, enjoying nature, don't forget first aid, don't forget plenty of water, and maybe stuff a couple of granola bars in your pockets so that you have provisions if the unexpected occurs.
And if you pack it in, pack it out. Take your trash with you. Don't leave it there.
That's right. How many times had we have to gather up water bottles and other cooler lids and
Out
other
of the
trash
lake.
out
Yes.
of the lake every time we went? We'd fill
Absolutely.
the garbage bag almost every time. So definitely don't leave it behind. Be sure that you take your wrappers and your bottles and stuff with you.
Good stuff.
All right then. Where are we at? What's our topic this week?
Outdoor adventures.
Outdoor
outings.
All right. Well, what do you think, Jeff? Do we have anything else, or should? Oh, there was another announcement. Where's my phone?
Was that the late announcement?
Yeah, we were instructed to discuss. Let me see if I can find this. It's the part just before it tells Jeff that he's fired. Let's see. Announcement tonight. The boss has been gone all week looking at new sites, and Lord knows what else. I wonder what else but be advised, big announcement for North Georgia GMRS is coming very soon. You believe it's something we have all wanted and needed. I guess I do believe that. All we can do is stand by until Gary drops the mic on us. And we've asked him not to drop the mic because these things are expensive.
Yes,
Mics are expensive.
But in any case, I don't know what all of that means, but there's a big announcement coming, and I do know that.
Today? Now?
He didn't specify.
Yeah.
Now, the suspense is terrible.
I know. Can we just call him?
And so was the announcement, but that's okay. So yeah, we'll look for some news coming very soon. All right, you think we should take some more check-ins, or we just want to run with the ones we have?
Be short if we didn't.
Yeah, I kind of like the log as it stands.
33 right now.
But I'm advised that we need to take additional check-ins. So let's do that. At this time, let's take some additional check-ins from Zello users. Zello users only, please. The first time we called out for Zello, I think we only got one.
One.
I would imagine there's one or two more out there. Radio traffic, please hold until your turn. We only want to hear from Zello users at this time.
You're going to hang out? You're going to make your escape?
Control.
Oh, gonna make my escape. I got dogs that want to walk.
Please go ahead and check in WRTS 814. That's Toccoa 33. Matthew, down here in Valdosta, Georgia tonight. No traffic and be short time as well. But good job on the net.
This is Atlanta 514 WRZK 312, Mike in Cartersville. And by way of relay, Atlanta 515, Jody in Cartersville, checking in and checking out. Enjoy the net.
that going to work?
This is WSDB 923 Dallas 17. This is Jeff out in Dallas and here in Paulding County. Just hanging out for the net, checking in.
I'm loosely okay, as long as they're not completely buried.
All right.
Give you one more peg.
Okay, I'll take it.
Well, Zello, you're a little low anyways.
Okay, so we got a bunch of YouTube check-ins.
This is
And a flagship check-in.
USCR 238, CW 39, radio check.
Okay.
All right. Let's go ahead and acknowledge this round of check-ins. Jen, you want to do that?
This is
So,
WSCR
this is where we are.
238, CW 39,
so we'll check
in
that
Winder,
box
Georgia,
as we
radio
read each
check.
one, but that tells you where to pick it up at. So the first one will be,
Our guest.
yeah.
And because this is a string of YouTube check-ins,
Winder, Georgia, we're in the net meeting for tonight, and no one's taking radio checks right now. If you want to check into the net, you can. You sound okay.
North Georgia GMRS member, he's out in Colorado. Listen on YouTube. So this my point is this column will help you as well.
Alternate then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll check off your queue as you go.
Oh, thank you.
You just gotta read.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta and push the button.
Yeah.
I have to push the button too. Don't forget. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Whenever
let's
you
go.
are.
Okay, we're gonna acknowledge the check-ins we have so far. I have WRWB 802 Larry, a guest check-in on YouTube. I have WSCM 705 CW 41 Richard in Athens. Then I have WRWM 256 Atlanta 256 Chuck, and he is in with us. We've got WRQD 950, that is a guest check-in on YouTube, Donnie. WRW K85 Atlanta 250, Dana is in and out. Is that allowed?
It's not allowed.
Can he be in and out?
Well,
I don't know.
It's only because he's checking in on YouTube tonight. He says he's busy, so.
Oh, all right then.
But you're right. Normally not allowed.
Okay, very well. All right, Rome 27, Terry, WSBC 635 on YouTube. We got WRTS 814, Toccoa 33, Matthew and Pickens.
He's actually in and out too, by the way.
Oh, he is in and out too.
Oh, fix that.
Okay, we've got Atlanta 514, Michael in Cartersville, or Mike in Cartersville. We've got Atlanta 515, Jody in Cartersville. We've got Dallas 17, Jeff in Dallas. We've got CW 39, Robert in Winder. And that is, oh, you just added one.
Yeah, we got one more coming in live in real time. I'm trying to get him in there.
Going too fast. WSB CZ 370, Cornelius in
Wyoming. That's one of our further check-ins.
Yeah, that's one of our further
That's
ones that
awesome.
we've seen.
Yeah.
We got,
Welcome. Is he in or is
He's
he?
YouTube, so he's just in and out.
Oh, in and out.
That's
All
not
right.
quite as far away as the one we had from.
And that's what we have for now.
Was it Cairo, Egypt, or?
Oh, we lost it. Hold on.
Do you recall the check-in, Jeff, that we had from? I believe it was Cairo, Egypt.
it wasn't Cairo, but it was a little city closer to Cairo. But yes, it was the country of Egypt.
So I think that might be the record holder for our longest distance.
No kidding.
At least as long as we're taking two-dimensional check-ins.
We'll have to check with Tom on that one.
That's right.
You're going to have to explain that one.
Well, I mean, two-dimensional radio would be radio across a flat plane, whereas radio actually travels in three-dimensional space. So we could be taking check-ins from, above the Earth. But so far we haven't, that I'm aware of.
Not that I know of.
No spirit in the sky.
I did hear about a pilot.
Well, yeah.
But that's on 2 meters.
I have, and I haven't heard anybody check in on GMRS from the air yet, but I'm certain it's coming.
Give it time.
All right, so next we'll be taking check-ins from any repeater other than flagship. Any repeater other than flagship, please call net control.
This is
69 WRZ.
I-254 McDonough 45, and I'll be in tonight. Kai, McDonough.
Dallas 69.
This is
Thank you.
WRKK 69, Chattanooga 84, checking in. Good evening, everyone.
Dallas 69 was a Zello.
Was he in and out?
He didn't say it, but it was a
Okay.
Zello.
This is CW5, WSAE 606, Cindy and Comer. I'll be checking in and out, and by way of relay, CW4, WSAE 606, Derek and Comer. He will be checking in and out as well. Have a great net.
And you got Atlanta 60 in the live stream.
Oh, yep.
This is Rome 12 WRQZ 941, Mark in Rome, checking in and out.
This is WRZL 542 Noonan 120 Carmine in Fayetteville. Checking in, checking out.
So, question. Would you do the call sign and the tag number, or just tag number?
I generally just do a tag number, except in cases where it's a guest and they're not a member with a tag number, then I call out the call sign.
Can do. That was very fast typing.
That's why we just let him do it.
Yeah, that was impressive. I'm not slow, but
I thought he was over there drumming his fingers. I didn't realize he was actually.
WRCJ 809 checking in.
That's Dallas 69 again, checking in.
Okay. Did I get Dallas? Yeah, I got Dallas.
This
69.
is
Atlanta's, Chattanooga 69.
This is WRKJ 453, Chattanooga 69. In Las Vegas. Checking in and out, guys. Have a good one. Jen, don't let them guys bully you.
Oh.
Too funny.
That's good.
Oh, Chuck says we had a check-in from Japan.
This is WRTY 988 Deansville 57. Checking in, checking out.
How long do you usually let it go?
Oh, till the check-ins slow down like they are now.
WRMA 965, Atlanta 964, Richard, and Norcross, in and out.
Oh, Lisa's on YouTube.
Ed says...
She says doing great, Jen.
Oh, thanks.
Ed said first we had Julie's tips, then catch up with Kate, and now we have join in with Jen.
Oh man, we should have named the net that. What? How did I miss that? I like Little Miss Radio. It is so cool. It's gonna be fun.
We want you to talk about that, but we're gonna put Kate's little graphic.
This is
Awesome.
good evening, Net Control. This is WRNW 488, Atlanta 532. Tom in Flowery Branch.
Let's go ahead and acknowledge.
Checking in and checking out. I'm on a handheld tonight, so I don't know if I'm getting in or out, but have a great night, everybody.
You made it.
Let's go ahead and acknowledge this round, and then we'll take any repeater anywhere.
Okay. Okay, this is Net Control. We're going to go ahead and acknowledge what we have so far. We have Dallas 21, Lisa. She's in and out on YouTube. We have McDonough 45, Kai in McDonough. He's going to be in with us tonight. We have Dallas 69, Brett and Hiram. Looks like he's in. We have Chat 84, Jim Wells in Hickson, Tennessee. He's going to be in with us. And then we have some in and outs. We got CW5, Cindy in Comer. CW4, Derek and Comer, in and out, both in and out. Atlanta 60, Gary, in and out on YouTube. Rome 12, Mark is in and out. We have a guest check-in, WSAX 689, Joe from Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome. We have Noonan 120, Carmine in Fayetteville, Georgia, is going to be in and out. Chat 69 in Las Vegas is in tonight.
That's the Velvet Elvis.
The Velvet Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all called me on that. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not saying it, but there you go. All right, there's Gainesville 57, Richard in Westminster. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Atlanta 964, Richard in
I
Duluth.
say it the same way.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And then Atlanta 532, Tom in Flowery Branch is going to be in and out. And that's what we have so far. We're going to go ahead and take check-ins from any repeater, anywhere, right now. Let's hear it.
Well, wait a second.
Oh, nope.
What are we waiting for?
Well, we have a comment in the live stream that says, my mom wanted me to check out the live stream. So, whatever child of yours that is,
Yeah.
we need to get them in the log with a name.
Slip 324.
Yeah.
Slip 324. That would be Atlanta 254.5. And that is my son, Will.
Oh,
All right.
fantastic.
Thanks for watching, kiddo. I appreciate it.
All right, now we can go on. What were we doing now with check-ins?
We were going to any machine, including flagship.
Okay, well, let's do that. Net control standing by.
This is Noonan 345, WSCC 345 on the Zebulon repeater. My name's Tim. I just joined today.
What about Bill?
This is WSPV 753, Alabama 22. Hal in Cedar Bluff. I'll be in and out with monitoring tonight.
This is
Sounded like CV.
It did. Gainesville 76.
Gainesville 285, WRKN 234, CV Smith, C. Charlie V. Victor. In Merrillville, Georgia, checking in and out. And by way of relay, Gainesville 286, Lynn. In Merrillville, Georgia, checking in and out. Be monitoring as best we can.
Hi, 755, K's Cove 83, Bill in Rockwood, Tennessee. I'm checking in.
There
Nice.
he is. That's awesome. Thanks, Bill.
This is WROB 245, Atlanta 849, Pamela in Duluth, and Atlanta 848, Ernest in Duluth. We're checking in and out. We are mobile.
Starting to roll in now a little bit. What are we at? 63? What do you usually have?
Between 60 and 80.
This is
Okay. Well, that'd be Gainesville 58.
This is WRXM 922, Gainesville 58, Jonathan from Oakwood. I'll be checking in and out.
Well, there's another net controller in and out. I don't know. I don't know about this.
You can tell him you can call on him.
Oh, I will.
You can call him out.
That's the power of the microphone.
Dana said he was at a graduation party. That's the
Oh.
only reason why I'm letting him.
Yeah, he had a
okay.
semi-legitimate
It is that time.
reason.
It is that time.
We'll let it go.
So he's probably watching YouTube on his phone, sitting in the graduation.
That's dedication.
I think that's all you're gonna get.
That'd be all right.
Gonna acknowledge.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go ahead and acknowledge what we have. And I did want to make a comment. Chat 69, you don't have to worry about me getting bullied. I'm good. I'm good. All right, Noonan 345, Tim in Sonoya, Georgia, and he just joined today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How many points is that worth?
We'll give him 2.
2? Just what? 2? Okay.
Well, everybody else only got 1, so he got 2. So he double.
Okay, all right. Cades Cove 81, Renee in Rockwood, Tennessee, is in tonight. And 345 is also in. Alabama 22 is in and out. Hal in Cedar Bluff. But he's going to be monitoring. Gainesville 285, CV Smith is in and out. Gainesville 286, Lynn Smith is in and out. Cades Cove 83, Bill in Rockwood, Tennessee is in. Atlanta 849, Pamela in Duluth is in and out because she's mobile. And by way of relay, Atlanta 848, Ernest is also in and out because they're mobile. Gainesville 58, Jonathan is in and out, and I don't think that should be allowed.
Nope.
Can I put that before the committee? I don't know.
Yeah, I vote. Mark him in.
Okay, we're going to call on you, Jonathan.
Yeah,
if
there
you don't
go.
reply, I understand. Noonan 68, Joseph in Moreland, Georgia, is on YouTube, in and out. And I think that's all the check-ins we have. Are we going to take another round, or are we going to...
No, I think we'll go ahead and kick things into gear. There'll be another opportunity for additional check-ins when we get to the end of the program. We'll take one round of late check-ins, and we'll open the floor for questions and or comments just before we close the net. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and roll right up to the top of the roster and kick things into gear. So tonight we're talking about weekend activities, outdoor adventures, something along those lines. And there's lots of opportunity to incorporate radio in some of these adventures. You know, just last weekend, no, it was the weekend before. It was the weekend before. Went to Blue Ridge with my dad and my cousin and kicked around there for the day, and we cruised on up to McKaysville, and you know, lots of things to see and lots of shops to explore and neat little place. And then the next day, we went back up that way. We went to the North Georgia Zoo. Have any of you been there?
No.
It's very cool. It's a very cool thing. So it's I don't know if it's privately owned or if it's some kind of a rescue group or exactly what the ownership of it is, but it's a small private zoo with these are mostly rescue animals, but they have a wide range of animals. They have the coolest exhibit with wolves.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was very cool. Wolves.
How many did they have?
I think they had 6 or 8. There were several.
All right.
Yeah, well, where is this?
In North Georgia. It's called the North Georgia Zoo.
Well, specifically where in North Georgia?
Yeah,
like what
North
town?
Georgia's big.
It's out in the middle of stuff. It's not far from Dahlonega.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, you can hear the banjos playing as you're driving around. It's just what you would expect, and it's not. I mean, it's not in Helen or just outside of Helen.
Oh, we lost the radio.
Yeah, you got to hold the foot switch.
Somebody else had it down.
Oh.
I don't. My feet aren't anywhere near the foot switch, but
I had it down, and then I picked it up.
Okay,
So there you go.
all right. Yeah, I just assumed I was covered. I thought Jeff was going to give me the timeout warning over there, and I'd just see the light go away. But in any case, the North Georgia Zoo is up there. It's outside of Dahlonega. It's well, we had lunch at Helen after the zoo, so it was about maybe a 25-minute drive to Helen once we got headed in the correct direction. So in any case, it's up that way, and it was a lot of fun. After lunch, we decided to check out one of the waterfalls in that area. I think it's called I don't know, Mark's Gorge or Doug's Ditch, or I don't remember what it was called. Rose Creek. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, you park a mile away from the waterfall, and it's quite the hike in. And after all of the weekend adventures, this was just enough. And so as we got roughly halfway in, we could walk along the stream, and we saw several rapids and small waterfalls. We could hear the big waterfall from a distance. But Dad had kind of decided, you know what, you guys go on and check this thing out, but I'm going to hang out here. And so everybody else kind of went off, and after a minute or two, I thought, you know, my dad's he's up there in age, and maybe I ought to go check on him and see how he's doing. So I walked back, and he didn't hang out right there. He's gone. Well, now I'm a little bit freaked out. And so I pick up my pace, and I'm walking to catch up with him, and he had made it almost all the way back to the car before I caught up with him. And that would have been a really good opportunity for us to break out the radios and stay in communication when the group separated. So the point is that be prepared ahead of time, and you know, even if you don't think you're going to use them, toss those handheld radios in the trunk. Make sure the batteries are charged. Have a couple of bottles of water. Have a bag with some granola bars in it, and then that way, when you're out, you know, because we had no intention of going hiking in the woods. It was all about going to the zoo and then having lunch in Helen and then going home. So we were unprepared. Do a better job than we did, and be prepared, and just have those things available so that when that circumstance comes around, it's real easy to just hand somebody a radio and say, okay, let's go check out this waterfall.
So keep a couple HTs in the trunk.
You know, whether you keep them there or you just have them there for the weekend, when you're going to go do these things, definitely go do it. And you can Google the North Georgia Zoo. It's not hard to find online.
Yes, I just Googled it. It's in White County.
Yeah, got a break. Yeah, I believe it's really close to Cleveland.
Yep, which is a long way away from Dahlonega.
Over by Bobby.
I think everything's a long way away from Dahlonega.
Dawsonville is not.
All right then. So that was my weekend adventure story. Coming up, we've got Memorial Day, so there's lots of opportunities for weekend adventures and excursions and camping trips and adventures in the woods, etc. So we thought this would be a great time to talk about what you might use and how you might be prepared for your weekend outdoor adventures. Is it raining? Oh, you just trying to see if the radio's working? Oh, how do I sound? Good. Are you sure? Yeah. All right. Jeff gave us the official nod that I sound good enough to continue, so that's what we'll do. So let's go to the top of the list. We have checked in. We have Atlanta 255. Jennifer, hey, you're right here.
Wow.
Very convenient.
Do I need to push the button?
You can push it. I'll hold it down. Either way.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. So Mother's Day weekend, we did. I had some fun with radio. My son Will and 254 were kind enough to humor me a little. Went to the top of Amicalola Falls and was able to simplex with Atlanta 307. Which is 30 miles away. So height is might when it comes to simplex. And that's radio to radio. That's without using any repeaters. And we were able to have a conversation clear as day. So all the preparedness and using these radios as, you know, safety, absolutely. But it's also fun just to see how far you can get out.
That is pretty neat. Were those HTs or mobiles?
20-watt mobile on my side.
Okay.
And I think he was using a 50-watt base. So, but he was on low power at first with like 10 watts, and we were still able to talk. And then he cranked it up, and it was almost as clear as flagship. It was awesome.
That's fantastic. And, yeah, from ridgetop, you can talk for quite a long ways.
Height is might.
But when you're down in the valley near the waterfall, we didn't have the radios with us, so I can't really answer the question. But I'm fairly certain we would not have had repeater coverage down there on that trail back into the waterfall. However, the parking lot is way up high on a ridge, and except for the trees, you really have almost perfect line of sight down the hill to that trail from the parking area. So to be able to relay a message from the parking area to a repeater out to the network to call for help would have been completely plausible in that scenario. And, you know, circumstances are always going to be unique, and it may not work every single time, but it's something to just be aware of the possibilities and be prepared. Have your radios programmed ahead of time, and that way when that scenario, that situation comes up, you're ready. You're ready to roll.
And I'm going to start keeping some HTs in the trunk. That's good advice.
I think so. All right, so with that, did you have... Oh, there's something else that's going on, Jennifer.
Is there something else?
Yeah, I think... Oh, we got a break. Yeah, it seems like there's something coming up maybe in June?
June 3rd is what I'm thinking. June 3rd. Do we have that? Do we have that awesome graphic that Kate put together?
I'm ready for you.
That is so cool, Kate. That is, like, awesome. Yep, June 3rd. Check-in's going to start at 7:30. This is for the ladies. So all of the ladies out there, I hope you're going to check in and stay and hang out and talk with me a little bit. Our first topic is going to be about hobbies. I thought we'd just take the time to get to know one another a little bit. What do you like to do? It doesn't have to be about radio. Everybody knows I like radio, so I'm covered. But I want to know what you guys like to do. So if it's radio, awesome. We're going to have a lot to talk about, just me and you. But I'm sure that there's other hobbies out there, whatever they are. Please bring them to the table. Let's talk about them. And then in July, let's talk about the country's birthday, July 4th. What do you do?
Cool.
Yeah. And then we're also going to do a little simplex discussion on that one as well. That's the plan.
Well, fantastic. All right. And, you know, what's kind of cool, because I'll tell you, for the longest time, I really didn't give any thought to simplex operation. All right. Because we have this awesome repeater network. What in the world do I want to... Why do I even want to bother going to simplex? Because anybody that I want to talk to is going to be able to hear me on the repeater. But, you know, as time goes on, it occurs to me there's lots of opportunity to do a lot of cool things in simplex. And one of the coolest things that you can do in simplex is get your family involved in radio. You may have family members that don't want to get on the repeater network and have everybody in the community hear them stutter and fumble and be unsure and uncertain how to talk on radio or what to say. Go to simplex, and rarely will you have anybody else hear you. You might have somebody on that same channel at that same time, but chances are good you'll have it all to yourselves. And if you don't, you can bounce around until you do have a channel. You can always add in a privacy code on your radio that will make it seem as though you're on an island all by yourself. So keep some of the other chatter off of your radios. So lots of opportunity in simplex. And then with the Friday Night Simplex Challenge, I think that really brings home opportunities in radio beyond what the repeater network has. And I keep thinking of, you know, we get into a situation, you know, the zombie apocalypse is upon us.
Easy for you to say.
Right. You know, when that happens and the grid is down, there's no power, there's no phones, there's no internet, you know, our repeaters will stand up. Many of them have backup power that will stand them up for quite some time. Some of them don't. But depending on the repeater and the scenario, I mean, really the most, who do you want to talk to when you have the zombie apocalypse and the world is disconnected? Let me break. Because while it might be valuable getting a message from Knoxville all the way down to Columbus, Georgia, I think the more important communication is going to be the one that's 400 yards down the road, so that when you see something headed your neighbor's way, you can let them know, hey, there's a pickup truck with a bunch of guys in the back headed right down toward your street. Whatever that message might be is far more meaningful in your own neighborhood than it is in Chattanooga or Knoxville or Columbus or wherever that may be. So Egypt, that's right. Egypt, California. What was our farthest check-in tonight? We had one from
Colorado, Wyoming, depending on which part.
Yeah. Yep. So the folks in Wyoming might like to know about these things, but the people that need to know about these things are the people that live in our simplex neighborhood. All right. Well, good stuff. Let's move on. Who do we have next?
Looks like we have Kate's Cove 80. Eric.
Eric, do you have any weekend outings planned for this summer?
Well, good evening, Nick Control and Jennifer. You're doing a great job as a guest. As far as weekend plans, no, not really. I mean,
I didn't mean this weekend.
I'm an outside person.
Any weekend.
Regardless, I stay outside. If it's just sitting on the porch listening to the radio. I like doing activities, but of course I'm limited because of my hip. I'll be glad when I get that hip replacement over with. Let me break. Didn't really do anything much for Mother's Day. I went and got Mom some flowers. We had thought about maybe just getting out and riding around, but she just wasn't up to it. So, you know, I'm really looking forward. Don't even know when it is, but I'm really looking forward to that Jeep Fest. I would love to be able to come down there again. So, 4th of July, we normally go to Kingston. It's one of the largest fireworks shows in the area. We even see a lot of Georgia tags and Alabama tags, people coming up to it. But as far as weekend activities, I mean, every weekend just another day. You know, with the cost of living, it's hard to plan a vacation, especially on.
Timeout timer guy.
I knew that timer was about to get me. Especially on the you know, budget like Mom and I are on. But we have a good time together, just hanging at the house or doing whatever. So I'll turn it back over to Net Control, and we'll make the best of it.
All right, Eric. Well, very good stuff. And I'll tell you, I think probably one of the best fireworks shows that I've ever been around is the one right here in the neighborhood on the 4th of July. Actually, anytime there's a holiday, and oftentimes when there's not a holiday, my neighbors like to celebrate with fireworks. And, you know, sometimes they will celebrate Tuesday. You just whatever. Birthdays, anniversaries. I mean, it's crazy sometimes. But on the 4th of July, it's like a war zone. I mean, you hear the distant rumbles, you hear the nearby rumbles. You can smell the cordite and gunpowder in the air.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you're walking out in the street, there's like this rain of ash and debris that's almost constant from the giant mortars that people are launching out of their backyards. You know, the ones that go up 400 feet and then shake the ground when they go off?
Excellent.
Yeah, it's great. This neighborhood rocks when it comes to fireworks. The dogs.
You gotta understand, like, fireworks were not legal in Georgia for a long time.
Yeah. So in Indiana, it was the same thing. Fireworks, most fireworks other than sparklers and you know, the kiddie stuff were illegal. But you could go across the state line and you could buy the fireworks in Ohio. And when you bought the fireworks in Ohio, you had to sign, because they were illegal to use in Ohio too. You had to sign a piece of paper that said you promised to take the fireworks out of state. So on US 30, just outside of New Haven, Indiana, on your way to Ohio, about 6 miles to the state line, there are 2 fireworks stands. There's one in Indiana, and there's one in Ohio. So if you're buying from the one in Ohio, you have to have an out-of-state driver's license. Conveniently, if you're from Indiana, you have that. And if you're from Ohio, you just go to the other one.
That's quite a system.
It was great. They're identical. They were owned by the same folks, but
yeah.
Tennessee
was the go-to.
So
in
that
the
was,
80s.
but then they made the out-of-state fireworks legal, and Indiana did one smart thing about that I wish that Georgia had done, is that those fireworks are legal on holidays, the day before, the day of, and the day after, and you can't set them off on some random Tuesday or Thursday or Saturday.
You mean like folks do in this neighborhood?
Yeah. So, and the other thing that happens in this neighborhood is when the big holidays are around, like the 4th of July, we'll have fireworks going off for about 2 weeks leading up to the 4th of July. And it's funny because they always start off with the little bitty ones, and they progress to bigger and bigger and bigger. And then on the night of, that's when the zombie apocalypse happens, and you can smell the gunpowder and cordite, and you have the debris just trickling down from the air. It's crazy. It's just absolutely nuts. But all in all, I hate it for the dogs because it definitely bothers them. But,
yeah, mine too.
But it's kind of cool. So yeah, fireworks. Come to Woodstock and see the fireworks show right here in the neighborhood. Give me a break. And with that, let's move right on to Chattanooga 30, Jonathan in Hickson. Jonathan, we didn't know for sure if you were in and out, but we're going to go ahead and call on you and see if you have any weekend adventures planned for the summer.
Thank you, Justin. And Jennifer, welcome to your new job in net control.
That's a job, man.
Quite a little promotion. Yeah, I got all kinds of stuff planned this summer. Last week talking about doing responsible stuff, I didn't want any part of that. But yeah, for me, April through October is whitewater kayak season, primarily on the Ocoee River.
When I get my first one, I'll let you know.
Wife and I got a little 17-foot camp trailer on a friend's piece of property up there. So every Friday morning we load up our gear. Friday afternoon we head to the Ocoee. That'll Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Come on Sunday night, get ready to do it again. Right? And we got a out-of-state trip from. I'm looking to try to take a month off of work this summer. So more or less June 15th to July 15th, June 20th, July 20th, somewhere around those dates. We're going to load everything up, and ourselves and a bunch of friends are going to have a little rendezvous in southwest Montana. See the new country there. We've got about 7 rivers mapped out there. There is difficulties where we're not going to handle the whole 100 rivers, but we hope to get on at least 6 or 8 new rivers out there on the near Big Sky, Montana, South Dakota. And on a trip out there, we'll probably stop at the Black Hills in South Dakota, David Badlands, and probably stop at Yellowstone National Park for a couple of days on the way home. Right?
I heard South Dakota.
And I do all my responsible stuff November through March. When the water's cold, we'll be cold to be out there paddling. The summer comes, it's like, yeah, I'm going to the river. Take GMRS with the GMRS radios with us out on the out-of-state road system. A lot of times we'll have multiple vehicles running there. And I'm hoping to get a full-size blue radio in our Samurai for our co-behind our TV, our off-road. Trying to get some of my friends to get radios, but they're all just like, yeah, whatever. Maybe see how useful the radios, are over the years before then we'll jump on the bandwagon. A lot of the areas we're in, there's no take part in that. And that's what I got for this evening. Thank you all very much. And back to Kevin.
All right. Well, very good, Jonathan. We had some noise through a lot of that, but I did pick out some bits and pieces. So understand that you're going to spend some time up on the Ocoee River, and that sounds like a great adventure. I think you're taking a camper up there and a weekend or two up that way. That's one thing that personal experience, radios in the kayak, I had thrown a couple of radios in Ziploc bags thinking that would, you can talk through the Ziploc. The Ziploc will protect the radio from the water.
How'd that work out?
It didn't.
No.
Okay. The radios both got various degrees of wet. One of them was pour the water out of it wet. The other one was just very, very damp. But neither of them were operational until a week or so later when they were dry enough to come back on. And they work fine today, so they did dry out. They are water resistant. They're just not water proof, water friendly, water
Submersible.
capable. Submersible.
There are some submersible HTs out there.
So if you're going to get into water related activities, that's what I would recommend. Now, on the speedboat, we took HTs out on that, and on a pontoon boat quite often, and never really had any trouble because it's a lot easier to keep those radios dry in that kind of a boating environment. But the kayak, if you're tubing, you're going to want something other than a $25 radio. But maybe you do want a $25 radio because, like I said, the radios, once they dried out, they're okay. They're no worse than they were to begin with.
Then if it goes overboard, it's not as big of an issue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's $25.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt as bad.
So when I first put the radios in the Ziploc, I thought, I'm going to squeeze out all the air and then close that up so it'd be easier to hit the buttons. And I thought, no, wait a minute. If I leave a lot of air in the bag, chances are if I lose it, it'll float. But there's a balance, you see, because if you put too much air in a bag, it gets hard to operate the radio through the bag.
Right.
You poke holes in the bag so you can operate it, right?
I didn't do that. The bags just didn't seal. I don't know why they didn't. I don't know if the zip wasn't zipped well enough, but
so presumably they were gallon bags are big enough that the antenna is still inside the bag.
Yeah, gallon bags is what I use.
Yeah,
and they've got the bigger bag too, but that's not what we used.
Okay.
But yeah. So, and Jonathan was also talking about the Black Hills. I've got family up that way. That's a very, very cool place to go see Mount Rushmore. And
I've never been up that way. I need to get up there.
Yeah, definitely worth it. Lots of cool things to see. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years old when the first time I saw a very large herd of buffalo stampede across the valley. Just an amazing, one of those things you never, ever, ever forget.
And that does not encourage me to go.
Right. So, cool stuff, Jonathan. And
his wife. He's going to tell his wife about the net on June 3rd.
We'll definitely do that. And I think, this is hopefully an environment that the wives will find less intimidating and more welcoming, and the subject matter hopefully will less technical. I mean, I'm sure Jennifer's at some point going to break out antenna theory and design, but I think there'll be other topics that she'll delve into.
Less nerdy.
Right.
So, if you're watching on the live stream, you're getting a sneak peek at the. What did you call that?
This is a bow tie antenna, and I tested it out last night if you were on Flagship and Ball Ground. And it is now tuned to 1.5 SWR.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put it on a $30 radio and run it. But yeah, I put that in my pocket just to,
Folded the antenna up in the pocket.
Oh, it's completely portable. Here it goes, back in my back pocket.
Origami
antenna.
There we go.
Now the test is when I get home, will it still work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as long as you don't take it swimming, it should be fine. All right, let's keep on trucking here. We've got Dallas 64 Josh in Dallas is in and out. And we have Dallas 20 David is elsewhere, in and out. We have McDonough 22 Tim in Stockbridge. Tim, do you have any weekend adventures coming up this summer?
Are you calling to the my life for weekend adventures is pretty much passed me by already. I used to do things like boating and fishing and swimming and all those things, and used to at least once during the summer we'd go to Six Flags over Georgia, and I was just thinking about that. And back when I was doing the outdoor activities, I wasn't thinking about radio at that time. But I was thinking for a family, especially with kids and stuff like that running around, Six Flags is so big. It would be great to carry some little simplex, even just little bubble pack radios with you. Tune to the same channel and maybe put a little tone in there, to block other people out. And so that would be a great idea for activities like Six Flags or even Disney World or whatever if you're going someplace like that. But I don't have anything specific planned for this summer other than I do plan to go visit my sister and her new husband in their new home in Navarre, Florida, down there between Fort Walton and Pensacola, and spend a little time on the beach down in there, breathing some ocean air, and maybe drink a cold adult beverage or something like that. Play a little guitar on the beach. I don't know, but also if the Lord provides funds, I'd like to fly out to Washington State this around September, October sometime probably, if things work out. But that really doesn't really involve radio, but that's pretty much my plans for the rest of this year. And you're just not able to get out and do the hiking, swimming, boating, and all that kind of stuff anymore. I could get on the boat and drive it around the lake. I used to do that a lot. Actually, I enjoyed more being in a boat and driving around on the lake than I did fishing. I like fishing okay, and it was especially fun when my son was little and everything. I'd take him fishing. But as an adult, I'd rather just be on the water. I worked for a company one time. The lady that owned the company had a houseboat and a bass boat out on Lake Hartwell. And we went out there one time during the summer, and I got to drive a houseboat for the first time. Yeah. Wasn't really a whole lot of fun because it only goes about 3 knots. But she let me drive her bass boat around because nobody else was using it. And I think I pretty much covered most of Lake Hartwell. I filled the tank up with gas 2 times riding that boat around on the Lake Hartwell up there because it'd been a long time since I'd been able to get on a boat. And I just love boating, wave runners and stuff like that. I love. But as for this summer, that's pretty much it. Just a little bit of travel, and but unfortunately, it doesn't involve a whole lot of radio. But anyway, that's about it from Stockbridge down here. McDonough 22, back to net control.
Good stuff, Tim. And I tell you, I think that my favorite part of being on a lake is tooling around on the pontoon. And, slow and easy and close to the shore to look up and see people's backyards or look into the Corps of Engineers property and see the wildlife. And just that slow roll on the water is my favorite way to ride.
You can go find a cove to anchor down in and just hang out for a while.
Yep. We used to do exactly that almost every weekend. And good stuff. We took the ducks with us several times, and we would let the ducks swim with us. They were a lot of fun. They would dive into the water and go swim down underneath you and pop up behind you, and it's really interesting. Ducks are capable of swimming and diving and doing things that I just had no idea that they would do. But being with them and playing with pet ducks on the water is a lot of fun. All right. Well, thanks for that, Tim. With that, let's keep on moving here. We've got Chattanooga 127, Larry and Chatsworth, in and out. Gainesville 100, Randall and Buford, in and out. Moreland 10, John in Grantville is in and out. Atlanta 77, Warner in Tucker is in and out. Atlanta 403, Bobby, somewhere in White County, probably still at the CERT meeting. Probably can't even hear us right now, but he's in and out. We've got Atlanta 1406, Jim in Sugar Hill.
I don't think that's right.
You don't think that's right?
I think we had a hard copy on the number, but that was Timo that checked in because I recognized his voice. I don't think the number's right.
That was Timo. Timo, if you're there, would you come back with the correct TAC number and tell us if you have any plans for the summer?
That was a rough copy. Is he 1410?
He may have still been in and out, but I know the name wasn't right. That was definitely Timo.
He's not 1410.
Stand by. 1415.
There he is. All right. Sounds like he's going to be in and out.
All right. Mystery solved. I believe that was Atlanta 1415. Timo in Atlanta is... we've got him now as in and out. So that'll bring us next to Atlanta 557, Ed in Kennesaw, in and out. Atlanta 558, Denise in Kennesaw, in and out. And next we have Atlanta 491, Cameron in Canton. Cameron, do you have any weekend adventures planned for the summer?
Yes, actually I do. My plan that I'm going to be going out of town Memorial Day weekend to the Appalachian Trail. I'm a very minimal kind of camper, so I don't really bring very much. I only bring like an Inu and like a bug net. I'm going to bring my wife with me, try to get my parents or her parents to watch my son because he's not old enough to go camping yet. But yeah, I don't. When it comes to the camping and going outdoors, I try to be like the most minimal possible, and I'm definitely going to try to bring some of these radios with me and see if I can still hit flagship. But we are going to be bringing the Jeep as a backup, so we'll see.
Hey, Cameron. That's awesome. So you're going to the Appalachian Trail. So you're going to be right where I was able to get a 30-mile simplex. Well, if you're going to the Appalachian Trail, I was at the walk-in trail part of it. But you're only going to gain height from there. But that's awesome. Like I want you to play simplex and tell us how far you get once you come back.
Yeah, and if you can arrange ahead of time for somebody to be monitoring at a particular time and in place, you can maybe make that happen and try radio in a couple of different places while you're up there.
Absolutely.
If you make a little plan ahead of time, you can have a lot more success than if you just randomly turn the radio on and try to contact. You might hit a repeater, you might not, but I mean, if you're on a ridge line and you're on the right side of it, you should be able to hit something and be able to get out.
He'll be able to hit ball ground and flagship.
So, yeah. So good stuff, and hope that you have a lot of fun on that adventure. And, yeah, that's part of the point of tonight. I just want to encourage folks to take the radio along and put it to use. And hopefully you don't have to use it in an emergency capacity, but if you have an emergency and you didn't bring the radio, that can make it that much more critical. So hopefully nothing like that comes into play.
You know something you said, maybe a good topic for David and Lisa on the Monday night rabbit hole nets, and that's building comms plans. How do you set those up? What does it entail? Who do you talk to? Important part of prepping and radio in general.
And maybe the 333 thing where you just every 3 hours you come on the air for 3 minutes and encourage some people that are not going camping with you to be prepared to listen at those periods.
Yeah.
And be a great way to practice that particular plan. And, you know, it's a great exercise just because if you ever find yourself in a scenario where you're actually exercising that 3-3-3 plan out of necessity, then you have some experience and have some idea of how those contacts may play out.
That's right.
All right. Well, good stuff. Let's go. Let's continue on. Who do we have next?
Atlanta 102, James, incoming.
This is Atlanta 102.
It's a rough copy.
16 seconds or 16 minutes.
All right, James. Unfortunately, that was a rough copy to begin with, and it just faded from there. So, I'm not sure if you were talking on an HT, but your transmit location was just unusable, and then it got worse. So, if you want to know what it is that you sounded like to us, then go to the YouTube live stream and play that back. Go to the 1 hour and 16 minute mark on that playback, and you'll be able to hear exactly what we heard, which is really just a small voice in the static. So, James, if you would give that a listen, and hopefully next week when you come on the air, you can maybe operate from a better position and get in a little stronger. But that signal was just unreadable. Next, we have Atlanta 222, Larry in Canton. We don't know if he was in or in and out, but we're going to go call on Larry anyway. Do you have any weekend adventures planned for the summer?
Control, this is Atlanta 222. I wanted to be out of the net tonight, if that's okay.
Yes, sir. We'll go ahead and mark you that way now. Thanks for coming back and clarifying, so that saves us from, waiting to wonder, and appreciate that. So we've got you in the log, and I've got you in and out at this time. We've got a list of in and outs. You want to go through that, Jennifer?
Sure thing. We've got Chat 110, Jim Ringgold was in and out. Atlanta 823, Frank in Marietta was in and out. Atlanta 570, Jason in Swanee was in and out. And Atlanta 1402, Todd in Silver City was in and out. And then we are to Atlanta 263, Rogers in Dunwoody.
Wait a minute. Before we go to Rogers, you kind of gave away the fact that you're new here. You actually said Todd's town correctly.
That's because I live not too far from there.
Yeah, but
And
you're not supposed to say it correctly.
yeah, but why?
So once upon a time, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Atlanta 810, but he is a genius, and so we went from this basic log structure that you're using now with no lookup tables and no automation, and keying in everything in every cell at each and every turn. And John recognized the struggle that I was having with logging. And so he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I think I can help you out." And I said, "Well, all right. Well, let's take a look at what you got." And this is what John did for us.
Are we showing it?
Is this log here?
It's really cool.
And so we can, in this log, we can enter in the region and the TAC number for any of our members, and it will auto-populate the rest of the log. So the city and the call sign, the name, all gets automatically pulled up from the North Georgia GMRS roster. And so the information that you put in when you become a member or when you modify your membership information is the information that gets displayed in the log. So shortly after John created this log and we began using it, Todd had made a request that we modify the log in such a way that it would always pull up his particular city as something other than Sugar Hill. And so for a year, maybe?
At least.
We would randomly pick a location somewhere on the planet.
That's funny.
And that would be the place that we would designate as Todd having been from. There was one time that Todd checked in from the Florida Keys. Many times Todd checked in from European cities.
So is that the Japan check-in?
He's checked in from China. He's checked in from all around the globe.
What you're not hearing, though, right, is like every time you guys say Sugar City, I'm like, no, it's Silver City.
Got a break.
So that's why Todd is never in
Silver City.
Silver City. He's always in Sugar City or Silver Hill.
We say it wrong on purpose. So
I got it now.
for the longest time, we referred to John as Todd's travel agent because every week you never knew where Todd was going to be.
So that's the why of why Todd was always in some random place.
We've kind of been on Sugar City for a while now.
So
it might be time for a change.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's from exhaustion from looking at the map every week and trying to pick a new place. Yeah, that's so we've just kind of settled on Sugar City as being our default location for Todd since he cannot be in
Silver City
or
Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
Sugar Hill.
So Sugar City, it's like a marrying
mixed bag.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I got it.
So Atlanta 263 Rogers, where do you want to be from?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, just being from South Georgia, Albany, Georgia, to be specific. I grew up, basically outdoors, in the Boy Scouts and camping and, playing baseball outside, just doing all kind of things with friends. One thing I heard another gentleman say earlier was that he went to the Ocoee and went whitewater rafting. So that's something that I haven't done in a while, but I've done it twice, and that's probably one of the most fun things that I've ever done is to go whitewater rafting with a group of friends, get in the raft and just have fun at it. So I do plan to go whitewater rafting again this summer. Maybe get up as many friends as I can, travel up to Ocoee, and maybe use Macy's or mobiles on the way and have a little fun.
Very good. Well, I'll tell you, when it's time for you to go whitewater rafting, let me know. I'm not going to go with you, but I would like to know. And
you're gonna give him a Ziploc bag.
Yeah,
for his radio?
I'll hand you a Ziploc bag for the radio, and you can tell me all about your adventures as you're going over the rapids. I'm just envisioning, a continuous scream, but maybe that's what it would be if I were on the raft. I'm not going to get on a raft, but
it's not that bad.
I do look forward to the story.
I definitely will let you know when I get ready to go. But you got to go. It's a lot of fun. You put on the life jacket and you roll for your life. And I even had a chance where you get out, you can jump out of the raft and get in the water, have a little fun. So it's really, really fun. It was a lot. It was more fun than I thought. And so I'm gonna definitely go back again this summer, and I may go a few times.
Oh, very good stuff. And, that's something Julie and I have paid for whitewater excursions for the kids to go on. And that was a good time. Had a lot of adventures, a lot of stories. And it was good for the kids because they kind of had, that terrifying experience together as a bonding episode for the kids. We've also sent our kids skydiving and, a number of dangerous activities.
That you've never done.
I'm not going. I'm not.
You're not doing
No,
it?
I'm not
Oh,
getting
okay.
out of there.
Yeah, but now one of your lunatic kids does that for a living.
Yeah.
Jumps
yeah.
out of perfectly good planes.
We just turned him into an adrenaline junkie. So
Oh, I love it.
He loves to climb on things that probably he shouldn't, and jump out of things that probably he shouldn't. And one of the conversations I had with him here recently was that he wanted to be a tower climber / base jumper, so he could climb the tower and change the light bulb and then jump off of it.
Wow.
I'm not sure where you sign up to get that gig, and if anybody knows, don't tell him.
No doubt. Top secret.
That's right. All right. Well, good stuff, Rogers, and that sounds like a great use of your weekend plans this summer. So good stuff. Next on the list, we have WRWB 802 Larry in Colorado checking in on YouTube. Also, we have CW41 Richard, also a YouTube check-in. And we have Atlanta 256 Chuck in Dawsonville.
Oh, that's my neighbor.
Yeah, Chuck, when are you going to come sit in as a guest on Thursday Night Net?
Well, I'm kind of hoping this radio's working right now. Wasn't working earlier, but
he was having
yeah,
power issues.
I'll have to do that. I got to come up and give you a hand finishing off the Studio B there. But I'm heading out of town next week, heading over to the East Coast. See son, daughter-in-law, and the grandkids, all 6 of them. And I'm going to put Murphy in a little steel box and drop him off around Charlotte somewhere and see if I can put some distance between
I hope
me and
Murphy's
him.
the dog.
But, no, other than that,
Oh, Murphy's dog.
not doing too much. I'll
go
probably
on.
be
I
staying
love
home, after I get back for a little bit. But whenever you guys are ready, invite me up there, and I'll bring my hammer.
Well, I'll say this, Chuck. Avoid 575 if you can. I don't think you can, but oh my goodness, it's a drive. Go ahead.
Chuck, you got to explain to Jennifer about the Murphy thing because she thought you were going to drop off your dog.
No, I was wondering if your dog was named Murphy and then Murphy's Law, and I got it now. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, Jen, there's it's been a long-standing thing with Murphy. It's he travels with me a lot. Started in Chattanooga Hamfest, but everybody else has shared some experiences with him. But yeah, Jen, it's good to see you sitting up there with free salad. That's awesome. That's real awesome. But I don't know, that witness protection plan, I don't know if they'd allow me up there on camera.
Oh.
Well, they control the cameras, so I'm sure they could work it out. These guys are pretty clever. Don't tell them I said that, though.
I think the witness protection thing is just an excuse.
It is, because I've posted him on Facebook dozens of times at this point.
Well, yeah, but I've noticed in all those pictures, his face is heavily blurred. Or is that just how he looks?
That's just how he looks.
Oh.
That's just his face.
See, who was it? They're not bullying me. They're bullying the guest. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Ronnie that was looking out for you, right?
That's right. That's
Yep.
right. Oh,
And-
Chat 69, right? That's
and
right.
then we go after Chuck instead.
Because he's my neighbor. Is that what it is, guys? Come on.
No, it's just because it's Chuck.
It's Chuck.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's Chuck.
All right. It's not about me. I got it.
Well, very good. And Chuck, Studio B will be that is my weekend adventure for the rest of the summer and then some, I think.
The rest of 24?
The rest of the year, perhaps some of next, I don't know. But there's lots to do. It's still kind of overwhelming to me. Made huge progress while my dad was here. My dad will be a part of that building forever. So that's just, that is just awesome in my mind. But yeah, there's lots of work left to do. I think you'd be pleased to see where the project is now, based on what you saw when you were here. But there's still miles and miles to go. So, the budget will also come into play in terms of the rate of progress. So that's just a thing we have to live with. So I may have time to work on it, but I may run out of money and have to wait until I can collect a few more bucks to go buy whatever the next expensive item that we need for the project.
That'll be when we set up my room.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had and that's potentially coming up is a major upgrade to Studio C, if it's not too premature for me to mention. Early planning stages, nothing is concrete yet, but hopefully we'll be setting some forms and pouring some concrete at some point this summer.
Yes.
I know that Jeff can't wait to get a few bags of concrete mixed up.
I'm not mixing concrete. My mixing concrete days are done.
CV, we need 10 more bags of concrete.
We got posts to put in at the Free Salad Studio. So
I don't mix concrete.
Do you have a mixer?
It's in my contract. No concrete.
Yeah, the mixer's right there to his right.
Yeah. These are the only mixers I run.
Oh, that's your new mixer.
No, that's the only mixer I
The
operate.
only yeah, I get it. All right.
Where are we?
We're at a string of in and outs.
Go ahead.
WRQ D950 Donnie was a YouTube check-in. Atlanta 250 was in and out on YouTube.
At the graduation.
At the graduation, excused absence.
We'll cut him some slack this
Okay,
week.
all right, fine.
What's he graduating from?
Let me break. What's he graduating from? We had Rome 27. Terry was the YouTube check-in and out. Toccoa 33. Matthew in Pickens, South Carolina. No, Valdosta, Georgia. Tricked me. Was in and out. Atlanta 514. Mike, Cartersville, in and out. Atlanta 515. Jody, Cartersville, in and out. And now we are to, that's Dallas 17. Jeff in Dallas. What do you have plans? Maybe you didn't hear me.
Yeah, sometimes these folks check in and out, and we don't catch it.
Well, it is after 9, too.
And
Oh, wow, is it? Oh, God.
we forgot our 9 o'clock break.
After 9 o'clock.
And Dallas 17, are you out there, Jeff?
After 9 o'clock, what you perceived as ends sometimes start tapering off because people go to bed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, they start falling off.
So I guess we're going to mark Jeff as in and out. And that takes us to CW39, Robert and Winder. Are you still with us?
I think Robert was that accidental check-in that was trying to get a radio check.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was calling for 810.
That's right. That's right. We're going to show him his... Well, we'll see if he comes back.
All right. One more time. CW39, Robert, you out there? All right, we're going to show you as in and out. If you're out there, you can come back at the end. And we've got a guest check-in, WSBCZ370, Cornelius on YouTube. At WRKT728. Oh, Dallas 21. That's my buddy Lisa. She's on YouTube, in and out. And that takes us to McDonough 45, my fellow builder. What do you have? Are you out there? He's got small kids.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yeah, just the weekend's going to be filled up with finishing this little box set I'm
Have you seen
building
the
out
box
here,
he's building?
and then
Yeah.
getting ready to move the base
He's got
station
a,
to a new spot. and
not,
then
it's not a Pelican, it's the Apache or whatever, but it's like a Pelican
on the
case.
antenna.
Yep.
So
He's turning
that
it into a
should
go
put us
box.
right back in range.
Like quad band go box.
Repeaters
Very
again.
cool.
But other than that, nothing much. Just finishing up, household projects and radio projects. That's about it.
Oh, Copy that. I mean, I've been following your progress on Facebook for sure. If you haven't, you should get on there and look at McDonough 45's Go Box. You want to tell us anything about that?
I'm actually transmitting on it right now. I don't know how I sound. I'll have to go back and check on the YouTube channel. But yeah, it's going good. Everything's buttoned up, tidied up. The antenna folds down. Everything goes into the case. It's waterproof, dustproof, shockproof. Totally cool.
Waterproof.
Basically, I should be able to beat it up and throw it in the desert or bring it out somewhere real cold. The batteries have a low temp shutdown. So everything was kind of thought out methodically on how things got to be set up. We've got different length ground planes that are all inside the case as well. It is also a repeater. To my knowledge, I think it does full duplex. So I also have 2 small handhelds inside the case as well, in case we're out and about. This can serve as a base station, like you were talking about, or everybody was talking about earlier, getting up on a higher mountain. We can drop this up there somewhere and use the HTs.
Very cool, very cool. So I'm told at the 1 hour 35 mark.
That's right.
Yeah, you can go to the YouTubes and check that out and hear what we hear.
Hear how you sound.
And you sound very good. I mean, I'm super impressed. You're transmitting on the Go Box. That's awesome.
He doesn't have to fast forward. He can watch the whole program. That's also an option.
That's good for our watch.
But he's
hours.
listened to the whole program.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I would.
So here's what I recommend: is go ahead and pull up YouTube and fast forward to the hour 35 mark, and then you can hear yourself in that segment, and you'll hear just what your radio sounds like to us, and then start the YouTube back at the beginning of the program. And
let it
and
play
just
through.
let it play out.
Play the whole thing.
He's got Go Boxes
Yeah.
to finish. I don't know about
So you don't have to sit and watch it. Just let it play.
Yeah, just let it play. He doesn't have to watch it.
Yeah. Turn the volume down and let it play. It helps our watch time. So like and subscribe and
watch hours.
And watch hours. So I mean, even if you're watching us live tomorrow, the next day, go ahead and pull it up and let YouTube play out.
And he did say it was waterproof. Did you catch that?
Waterproof.
Yeah.
That's a nice feature
Heat,
because
it's
water,
not a Ziploc bag.
Cold, and it's not a Ziploc bag.
Yeah. So I do not recommend the Ziploc waterproofing plan.
Not a fan.
Not with air in it,
So,
especially. Right?
With or without air.
With or without
I think
air.
it's because it,
faulty sense of security.
Yeah, it definitely is. Results in a level of disappointment. but those radios.
For you,
Yeah.
I'm finding it very entertaining.
Well, yeah, the radios still work, but not while there's water pouring out of them.
Mm. All right, Kai. McDonough 45. Did you have anything else?
No, that was it. I'll hand it back over to you guys, but I appreciate it, and I'll check back and I'll help you guys out. Play it for a little while, and we'll try and get you over that hump. Get 1,000 subscribers if you're not there yet, and we'll push forward. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing more pictures. Unless I haven't been checking Facebook right now, but I'll go look at the finished product here in a little while. But I think that brings us to Dallas 69, Brett and Hiram. Are you out there?
Net control was Brett and Hiram, Dallas 69.
He's on Zello.
He's on Zello, so there's going to be a delay going back and forth with him.
Oh, I see. How does that work?
Net control, this is Dallas 69. Do you have me?
We copy you. You go ahead. What kind of outdoor adventures do you have planned, and what role do radios play, if any? Hopefully some.
They do. We're pretty busy now, so we don't have a lot of.
And we dropped it.
Backing the camper up. That's about the limit of my.
Now, why would Zello be doing that?
It's his device.
Sent me a bit, but here at the house, I've found some of these small videos that can.
And now it just timed out on him. He's in the penalty box.
Frequencies working on those things. So if I'm in the yard or something, and I need something.
He does have low audio too. He might not be activating the Vox on the Zello machine.
Who's this, Brett?
Brett. Yes.
Hopefully, we're going to get some time to get the.
I think that's exactly what's happening. His audio is so low.
Hey, Brett, I'm not sure. We've got you coming in on Zello. I don't know if you're using the Vox feature or what that is, but your audio is very low and you're dropping completely out and then coming back in. So we're only hearing bits and pieces of your traffic. Let me step off of here and let's see if you can try that again. But if you're on Vox, you're going to need to get a lot louder into the Zello, and but really highly recommend that we not use Vox on Zello ever. it often leads to bad things, and poor communication is one of them. So let's try that again, and this time nice and loud, and hopefully you can hold that Vox.
Low net control, is that did copy that, or did my
Still doing it?
Yeah, it's not enough to keep the Vox closed. So it's dropping out. We heard you. Hey, net control, is that holding? And then you were gone. So come back and watch the YouTube live stream at about an hour and 40, hour and 42 in that range. And you'll see just exactly what I'm talking about and why we weren't able to copy your traffic. You sound good, but the audio is low, and it's just not holding through the through Zello.
What do they call it? It's not Parrot in Zello, where you can actually hear yourself to set
Echo.
the mic. Yeah, echo feature. Use the echo feature and set your microphone levels on that device. And make sure you're good and loud with that echo feature, and that should help a lot. I think that's a lot of where your problems and struggles are coming from, is just low audio in general coming through the links, and it's just not hanging in there.
All right. So with that, Brett, we're going to go ahead and move on to Chattanooga 84 Jim in Hickson. Jim, do you have any weekend adventures planned for this summer?
I actually do. WRKK 69, Chattanooga 84. I'm leaving Saturday morning very early to head to Texas. So I'm going to go sit under an umbrella, hopefully not get skin cancer with the stuff on me. I'm going to sit there and do nothing until Wednesday, and then I'll return. So otherwise, I try to, radio day is Saturday, and I try to do something radio related most Saturdays. The weather is permitting. And yeah, that's I think that's about it. If you got anything else, just ask me. Thank you.
Oh, very good. Well, some time in the sun is always a welcome diversion from our day-to-day. The trouble I often have, and this is why I don't fish, after a few minutes, I start thinking about all the things I could be and some of the things I should be, and one of the things that I haven't done but I really need to, and I start becoming anxious. So I can't sit on a bank and fish. I can't fish in a boat. The boat's got to be moving. It's got to be. There has to be a purpose. Because to just sit still on the water.
So you don't hunt either, then?
I do not.
No.
And not successfully. I have gone hunting, and
What's probably the constant movement? that leads to your unsuccessfulness.
Well, yeah, there is that. There's the constant movement. There's the constant. The brain just won't slow down, and it's always producing something.
I'm not a hunter either.
Well, yeah, and so I have a certain admiration for people that can sit still, and relax. My relaxation comes from doing something. Moving forward and progress on whatever it might be. And that could be mowing the lawn. It could be, some other simple chore.
Building a building.
It's really difficult for me for any extended period of time to just sit and not be productively engaged in something. But hopefully you can enjoy that sunshine and do nothing for several days. Julie's also leaving this weekend. She's heading for Indiana. So I don't think there's going to be... I don't know that... Yeah, there's probably not any sun in Indiana. No, I don't
this
think
time
there
of
is.
year? I don't know.
It's probably just rain. So hopefully you have good weather and a great adventure in the sun. And the Saturdays as a radio day, that's not a bad plan.
I think the people in the neighborhood heard you talking about fireworks because they're doing it now.
They're celebrating the net.
It's a worthy celebration as far as I can see. All right, next on the list we have CW5. Cindy in Comer is in and out. Also, we have CW4. Derek in Comer, in and out. We've got a YouTube check-in from Atlanta 60. Gary in Noonan, in and out. Rome 12. Mark in Rome is in and out. Another YouTube check-in from Joe, WSAX 689, is in and out from Jacksonville. We have Noonan 120. Carmine in Fayetteville is in and out. Chattanooga 69. Ronnie in Las Vegas is in and out. Gainesville 57. Richard in Westminster, South Carolina, in and out. Atlanta 964. Richard in Duluth is in and out. Atlanta 532. Tom in Flowery Branch, in and out. Atlanta 254.5. Will is a YouTube check-in. Hey, Will. Glad to have you as... Oh, he can't see me wave because we're
on
showing...
the wrong screen.
Yeah.
A different screen.
But glad to have you along, and glad to know that you're watching.
I'm waving, too.
Watching tonight. Yeah, we're all waving at you, Will. Next, we have Noonan 345. Tim in Sonoya.
I'd say it that way.
Sonoa is a new user, just joined today. Tim, correct my pronunciation of your city, and tell us, do you have any plans for weekend adventures this summer?
Oh, we might have timed out. That was 4 minutes.
I understand I may have timed out on part of the network, so let me come right back to that. We're looking for Noonan 345. Tim in Sonoa. Tim, do you have any weekend adventures planned for this summer?
Yeah, I do. Any weekends that I don't have overtime at work, I plan to be at the lake or at least near the water. I love traveling up to Lake Lanier, even though it's a long ways, and just hanging out on the lake. And like you said earlier, you were talking about sitting still on the lake. I love moving, but I also love just laying on the boat, relaxing, usually during the calm times at night when there aren't as many people, the water's smooth, it's pretty great. But going to the beach and just hanging out with the family, I think, is most of my plans. My weekends are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so not the conventional weekend, but I make the best of it as much as I can.
Well, the nice thing about a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday weekend, A, you get 3 days instead of 2, but B, if you're going to do things like go to the lake or go to the mountains or go, there's a lot of places that you can go and enjoy activities that are less populated than they would be on Saturday and Sunday. So That's a huge advantage. It's probably also a disadvantage, but I don't see what that would be. So
all your friends are working?
Everybody else is working.
That's probably it. Yeah. So, but that sounds great, and yeah, that the love going to the lake. We haven't been in quite some time. We don't have a boat anymore. You know, they talk about the 2 happiest days for boat owners. You know what those are, Jeff?
The day you get the boat and the day you sell the boat.
The day you sell it.
That's exactly right. So we've experienced those days. I'll tell you, there were a lot of happy days in between. We really didn't have much trouble with our boats. We had a pontoon boat for a while. We had a speedboat for a while. If I had to pick between the two, I think I would go with a pontoon boat. But the next time I have a pontoon boat, I want something with more than a 40-horse motor, because I think top speed was around 9 mile an hour.
Yeah, but then your ducks couldn't keep up if you went any faster.
Yeah, the ducks really, they didn't fly, but if they were flying ducks, they would have been in the 25 mile an hour range.
I meant swimming.
Swimming, yeah. They weren't strong swimmers like a wild duck would be, but they were good for short distances. A lot of fun on the water.
I do love Lake Lanier. I grew up in that lake, so awesome.
All right, well, we've got the Budweiser Lake over here, Lake Galatuna. That's where Budweiser's made.
Oh,
did you know that?
I did not know that.
There's a brewery.
This has been an educational
right on the north end of the lake.
Afternoon, evening
Yeah.
for me. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sugar City and
Well,
Budweiser.
Just don't believe anything Justin says, and you'll be fine.
That really is step one. Did I tell you about the time that I thought I was getting never mind.
Free salad? Yeah, something like, I think I've heard a story. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a story.
Which is why I didn't read some of the stuff that was up there.
Well, Justin's motto is never let the truth get in the way of a good story. That's why you can't believe what he says.
That's right.
That has been said a time or two, and yeah, honestly.
Just nod yes and listen to the story,
My
but don't
goodness.
believe it to be true.
So is the Ziploc story true? I have to ask now.
Well,
the people want to know.
Julie verified that one.
Oh, it's been verified.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're welcome
checked.
you're welcome to explore and fact check that story at any time. Just please don't use a good radio.
No, I have waterproof radios. They can be dunked.
I don't know that would prove the story.
It wouldn't prove the story. It just proves I'm not going to use a Ziploc bag.
All right, let's move on to Cades Cove 81, Renee in Rockwood. Renee, do you have any weekend adventures planned for the summer?
Well, not a lot. I want to say women, that's about it. Let me think. I won't be working a lot this summer, though. I won't have time to do everything that I want to do this summer, but one thing I will make time for is to, don't dancing, maybe, swimming, hunting, whatever. And of course, I'm gonna have my radio on. Well, with me at least. That's about it for me. I want a great net and thank you for having me.
So, Renee, did I understand you correctly that you hunt and you do that?
No, I've never been hunting.
Oh, okay.
But I have been dancing. I have been on the beach, a lake, anything that you can think of that I've done. It's not, right now.
Awesome. And I did appreciate you reaching out to me earlier this week and, asking about the ladies' net too. So, and I'm looking forward to hearing you on that June 3rd. Okay. So
Well,
we're moving.
Well, Renee talked about the fact that she's going to be working a lot this year, and that makes it tough to plan for weekends. And sometimes work does get in the way of our recreational activities, but that's just a part of life. And hopefully, working all these hours and weekends and whatnot, you can put some of that money aside and be able to build up a vacation fund for down the road. So, if you can't get out and play this year, hopefully you can next year.
But you can play with the radios all the time, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you can only work so many hours a day, and you can come home and play on the radio, and almost always you can find someone on the air to talk with. So, and I've heard Renee on the air quite a lot since she's become a member. So that's good stuff.
See if she has anything else.
Yeah, let's move on to Hal.
All right, Renee, it's great to hear from you, as always. Let's move on down the list. I've got Alabama 22, Hal was in and out. Gainesville 285, CV in Murrayville was in and out. Gainesville 286, Linton in Murrayville was in and out. And that brings us to Cades Cove 83, Bill in Rockwood, Tennessee. Are you out there?
Yes, I am.
That's so weird hearing that echo.
One thing I really have planned for this week or whatever is the coming up yard I have to mow. But one thing I wanted to tell everybody, I think that really don't talk much about is survivalism. To survive and what plants you can survive off of and what others you can survive off of. And I think it's also a good idea for people to kind of go to powwows, Native American, Cherokee, and what their tradition is and why they like it outdoors and how they lived and survived outdoors and what their headdresses are meaning and what their regalias mean and what their colors meaning and all that. At anything, they would probably survive better than any of us. It is been told that they had survived and lived longer, and that that is considered my ancestors, and that I know how to survive. So if anything, let me break. It's important that people should, learn how to survive outdoors out there. And I think they really should try to go to powwows and learn about, the Native American Cherokee tradition, and all that. How they hunt and how they made their jewelry and from the nature, anyway. And what they had as warriors or hunters or whatever. Wolf, for example. They had wolf as a hunter. But, if you just look it up and read more about them, you can learn a lot about how they survived. We might not get as close as them, but I can get almost there. And I know survivalist is the most important thing. It's like our tradition on fireworks, for example. They have their own, too, but theirs is a lot different. If you could look up and see about it, that'd be awesome. But that's very important, survivalist. The number one thing. Anyways, other than that, I have really nothing else to say.
Timed out.
Good radio thing going. Anyways, I'm out right now, so have a nice rest of the night.
Well, Bill, thank you. Thank you for that. And Cades Cove 83. So talking about, have you ever done any of that?
Well, no.
Survivalist.
And I probably wouldn't survive very long. If it's not something I can just throw on the grill and have some potatoes with, then I'm probably going to die.
Didn't you tell me that you do your gardening at Kroger?
I do my gardening at Kroger. I do my camping at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
You do your hunting at Kroger too, don't you?
If fishing,
it's
for
successful
sure.
there.
The if I'm gonna go camping and I want to go primitive, then it's like the Red Roof Inn, or the low quality inn. That's the primitive camping.
Yeah.
But but that's fascinating stuff. And Bill's got a point. The Indians and the Indian way of just the harmony with nature and just knowing what you can survive on, what you can eat, and what you probably better not. You know, when I walk through the woods, I don't see any food out there, but I know that there are many things that if you were in a situation where your next meal might not be a McDouble, you probably could survive, but I wouldn't know the first thing about what to do or what to eat. And so that's good advice. And I'm sure there are books and there are people that you could learn from. And you know, if we ever did, we talk a lot about prepping and being prepared for things. And sometimes I talk about things, you know, that I don't really practice. But the reality is that if we're going to be serious about being prepared for the unknown, then this is an important aspect of that, because at some point all those buckets and boxes of survival food are either going to run out, they're going to go bad, or you're just going to be tired of eating it. And probably tired of eating it will come first. So if you don't have a stockpile of home canned foods, and you don't have a supply to refresh your stock of foods from your garden, which, you know, we talk about gardening as a way of being prepared, and there's no garden here. We talk about a lot of things that I just don't practice. So, but Bill makes mention of something that all you have to do is read a book, become educated. And, you know, we've all got time to spend a little bit of time doing some research online or what have you about, you know, things that you can eat in the wilderness and to get by on, to survive on. Maybe not to thrive on, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about when times are tough and your next meal isn't promised.
When the Kroger's closed.
And yeah, it's been looted.
In that case,
and
that's thriving,
and
right?
it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're right. I do my hunting and fishing and my gardening all at Kroger. I don't have the button down.
I had the button down.
Okay. Jeff's over there saying, we got a break. And I can't.
I did it.
All right. Good stuff, Bill. Glad you made that point, and glad to have you on the air. Next on the list, we have Atlanta 849, Pamela in Duluth. She's out being mobile, so she's in and out, as well as Atlanta 848, Ernest in Duluth, probably riding around right beside Pamela. Next, we have Gainesville 58, Jonathan in Oakwood. We've got you in tonight. Jonathan, do you have any weekend adventures planned for this summer?
Sounded like he keyed up.
No, that was somebody on Jersey.
Oh, he did want to be in and out.
Yeah, you're the one who said he couldn't.
He was voluntold that he was in.
Well, it sounds like Jonathan is sticking to his in and out. It's like Gainesville 5-8, in and out.
All right, I'll update
All right, I'm going to keep going down the list. We got Noonan 6-8, Joseph on YouTube. We got a string of YouTubes. These are all YouTubes. Chat 123, Steve. Ocala 26, David. Noonan 43, Jim. WSCS 492, Ari?
I think it's Ari.
Ari, yeah, on YouTube. It's a guest. Thanks for joining us. Atlanta 420, William and Roswell. Toccoa 32, Terry. Atlanta 419, Jason. Atlanta 170, Dalton. And we have another guest, RPX680, Andrew. And Chat 206, John, and Atlanta 900. And that brings us to the end of the list.
All right. Well, I guess since we're at the end of our roster, it would be time now to go to the point where we take any late check-ins from any repeater anywhere. Any questions or comments The floor is open. Net Control, standing by.
Took my foot off the pedal.
W5 with a comment.
W5. Cindy.
CW5 with comment.
Cindy.
Do we usually wait?
Yeah.
Yeah, you let them all go.
So
chat 206.
see how you put the comment down here?
206. No. What'd you do?
Scroll down.
Oh.
And he's going to leave some spaces in case anybody checks in.
Comments. Okay.
Yeah.
So comments are people that already checked in, but they have an additional comment?
Well, Cindy checked in and out.
Right, but that happens most of the time.
Okay.
Oftentimes it's Pamela that will check in and out, and then we'll come back with a comment. And so it just different habits from different folks, and we
got it.
We just roll with it.
So leave a space in case there is actually any check-ins you pick up at the end.
Almost always that we get late check-ins.
Yeah, right now.
But that's a very long pause, isn't it?
It's kind of rare that we don't have any coming in right now.
You want to take it?
Yeah.
So that was a long pause. And I got a comment from CW5, Cindy Comer. Go ahead.
Hey there, Net Control. Jennifer, you're doing a great job. I just wanted to let everybody know that the city of Colbert is having their annual parade on Thursday, July 4th. And that's something that my ladies group often participates in with a parade float. New news on that front in the Athens Radio Club is installing a repeater on the Colbert Tower, water tower, and they will be working that event that day. So I'm anxious to participate in that, just listening in, and I just wanted everybody to know about it. And CW4 Derek would know a little bit more about the details.
All right, Cindy. Well, thanks for letting us know about that. And you broke up a little bit, but what I heard was there's a parade in Comer on July 4th. And I think you said the Athens Radio Club is working that. Is that right?
Right. The Athens Radio Club is putting up the repeater. And I guess part of their service to the community is that they're going to be working that event using the new repeater. It's supposed to be up by July 1st.
Well, that is exciting. So radio in action right there, right? Public service.
And, there's a lot of parades and community events and celebrations, 10Ks and 5K runs, all sorts of events where amateur radio comes into play. And it's a great opportunity to volunteer and serve the community as a communicator with the Amateur Radio Club. They're very often looking for as many participants as they can find. It's one of those deals where they'd really rather have a few more than they need than end up coming up short. So, even if you're just monitoring, you may find a circumstance. If you're at the event, you may see somebody who is struggling with heat exhaustion, or you may see somebody that has fallen and injured themselves. And if you have an amateur radio and you're engaged in that net, you can help the amateur community organize assistance for people when you see these things in a crowd, because our police and our paramedics can only be in so many places. And when we can have a dozen volunteer operators also spread out through the event, you can just be there and you can be a spectator and enjoy the event and never bother with having to mess with calling out on the radio. But if you happen to see something, you can be instrumental in helping emergency services quickly come to the aid of somebody in that circumstance. So very often when you hear of events, there is an amateur radio club that is associated with that, and there may be some volunteer opportunities. So for those of us with a GMRS license, there may or may not be an opportunity there, because GMRS is not traditionally the role that those events are looking for. But that's changing, and we're going to find as time goes on that there's more and more opportunity to serve with a GMRS license. But I think that just in the last 2 weeks, I've heard of a handful of people that have been talking about acquiring their amateur license. And I would say that with just a few months of experience as a GMRS user, most of us are going to learn maybe half of what you need to know to get your technician license, just from the exposure of what we do in radio in GMRS. A lot of the information, a lot of the knowledge, a lot of that basic stuff carries over into amateur radio. So just because you're a participant here, you may be far more qualified for the technician's license than you realize.
I agree with that.
And one other thing that I would say is that the step between a technician and a general is a much smaller step. It's a very small step as compared to the step between general and extra. So a lot of us that have become technicians because of our experience with GMRS radio are far more qualified for the general than we might realize. And I would encourage folks to pursue both.
Cindy, do you have your technician license yet?
No, certainly not. My husband will probably be out.
That's the internet at Lula.
That's just an exciting bit of the radio universe in our area. Just wanted
We
to share.
had one more late check-in from YouTube that I just threw in there.
You want to just acknowledge it?
After you get to your comment.
Yeah. Well, okay, Cindy. Well, I would encourage you to get your tech license. I mean, like Justin was saying, your exposure with the radios and GMRS, actually, a lot of it does carry over to the tech license, and it made that test a lot easier for me. I know that. And, with one rule exception, 15 minutes GMRS, 10 minutes ID on the ham side.
Right, there is a difference. There is a difference in time, but the concept is the same.
Yeah.
So there's minor things, and the rules part of it is really not hard to learn the differences. Sometimes the technical aspects of the technician license can be challenging because, like for Julie, she's not a technically minded person. So the tech portion of the test was hard for her. The rules were easy. But not being a technically oriented person, Julie did just fine on both the technician and the general. And it's attainable, I think, for many of us. And first thing is you have to, want to do that. And if you don't have that desire, then there's nothing I can say that's going to change that. But hopefully folks will be encouraged and choose to pursue that so that you can serve in some of these circumstances.
Okay. All right. Well, let's, I think we had another comment. I think chat 206. John, you had a comment for us?
Guys, thank you for bringing me on the net. I had heard about something recently, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but LoRa, L-O-R-A, long range. It's a device-based license data radio service that operates in the 800 megahertz range in the U.S., and it allows for like encrypted data, kind of like a very primitive cell phone. Have any of you all ever messed with that or the mesh networks or anything like that?
Well, I'm nodding my head, and everyone's looking at me, so I'll take this one. Yes, I have heard of it. There's a huge group of people over in the UK that have really done some fascinating things with these Meshtastic LoRa nodes. They are license-free, as you mentioned, and then the 800 megahertz portion of the spectrum. So they, it's very interesting. It's obviously shorter range, not quite probably as prevalent here in the mountains, where terrain is going to have a big impact on that portion of the band. But yeah, have heard of it.
800 meg, so the antennas would be small.
Typically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typically small antenna. Now Jennifer's thinking about building one.
That would be my, yeah.
So Meshtastic is something that I've been hearing a lot about here lately. I think it's really kind of exploded in popularity.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that, as a hobbyist, is certainly a great place to explore. And it's one more element of radio that, once you get your hands in that, the value of putting it together and making it work and finding applications for it, that's education, and that's stuff that no one can take from you.
Yeah.
Once you've done that and you understand how that stuff works, then that just broadens the depth of knowledge that you have. And it could be that one day conventional communications are no longer available, and we have to rely on these things that we've cobbled together. And the experiences that you have in building something like Meshtastic may be just the thing that makes communications possible.
Yes.
When conventional communications have failed.
So you have to build it?
You build it with very inexpensive hardware. Almost none of it, at least the ones that I've looked at, comes pre-built. But you'll get a small circuit board with a small display. You can pick your own antenna. Some of them have small antennas that are integrated. Of course, you can attach bigger antennas to them. You can attach solar panels and backup batteries and things, and they can run off the grid.
I think I'm going to be looking into Meshtastic.
If you will, I will. Because
Okay.
the reason I haven't gotten into it up in Blue Ridge is there's no one there.
Well, and it's very hilly, right?
Very.
Hills, but
Very.
still, can talk to my neighbors.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not entirely different than a hotspot for DMR.
Yeah, I was
So
actually just going to say that. It sounds like you're building a hotspot.
Well, these can be connected to the internet, and they can also run without internet, but they don't do voice. It's like text messaging.
So what's the range on something like that?
Some of the tests that I've seen where they've got more open space, they'll get like 10 miles or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm seeing in some of the stuff that I've read where they're putting these in weather-tight boxes.
Yes.
Up on poles with a solar panel, so it's all self-contained and it's installed someplace way up high.
Right.
And so they're getting neighborhood coverage, and sometimes more than neighborhood coverage, by locating these. So it's a box with a battery, small computer, a single board computer, like a Pi or an Arduino.
Yes.
Got a break. And a radio hat that goes on that board, and so it's not overly complicated to build. There's lots of stuff. There's a Meshtastic Facebook page, so there's a lot of information, and much like our Facebook page, it's a great place to ask questions and get good information. So a lot of places on Facebook, if you ask a question that's been asked 100 times, you're going to get snarked at, you're going to get beaten down, you're going to be called names.
Yeah.
That and it's not something that we specifically have to go through and do a lot of enforcement on our Facebook page. You can ask the same question that was asked 2 weeks ago, and that same question was asked a week prior, and that same question was asked 4 days prior to that. And so this is the 5th or 6th time that same question has been asked in the last 3 weeks. And you'll get a quality to the point answer rather than the snarky. And that exists in our Facebook page. And although I haven't been in the Meshtastic page for very long, but I'm not seeing the snarkiness and the nastiness there. It seems like a very supportive group. They're our kind of people, I think.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating
I want to
application
know how that
for radio.
propagates now. I mean, is it like the UHF? Because that's even stepping it up even more. I wonder.
And these are milliwatt radios. These are not big radios.
Yep.
These
Very
are
low power.
Great question, John. Great
Unlicensed.
comment.
And very low power, but under the right circumstances, I think there is some decent range available.
And the value is the mesh part of that, where you have multiple nodes that connect to each other, and so you get this sort of self-healing best path kind of functionality where you and I wouldn't be able to do that together point to point. But if there's...
So we couldn't simplex but we could put together like a repeater system.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Oh wow, that's.
Oh, John, you opened a box here with this
wow.
one.
Sure did.
The wheels are turning. The wheels are
All
turning.
right.
All right, Brian. Brian, you heard that, right? I've got something else to build now.
Does John have anything else to add that we didn't cover, maybe?
That's all I had. I was thinking about getting a couple of the two little standalone T-decks and building a, I don't know if they call them nodes, but it's basically, like you were talking about, a self-contained waterproof repeater. They say they'll pretty much last all summer if you've got good sunlight, where the battery consumption's so low. That's all I had. Thank you all so much for the good information.
Very cool.
Well, thank you for the awesome comment and giving me other things to think about building and putting together. And I'm sure 254 is happy about that.
There's always the next project, and
That's right. That's
you
right.
know, sometimes these can be their own rabbit hole, and but there's always something to learn, and there's always knowledge to be gained and experience. So that's good stuff. All right, we have a couple of YouTube check-ins to acknowledge.
We've got Chat97, Anthony, Ringo on YouTube, in and out. Gainesville 54, Kevin on YouTube, in and out. And Atlanta 519, Gary on YouTube, in and out. Thanks for checking in. And we are back to the end of the list.
All right, so and that's going to be the end of our program tonight. So Gary, you've got the tail gunner spot this evening. Is that the right number I'm looking at?
Yeah, I
That
believe
is
so.
it.
All right. So this is going to conclude the North Georgia GMRS Regional Net. Tonight we had a total of
79
chickens, including myself and everyone else here at Net Control. We will now be returning the repeaters back to normal use. Everyone who signed in should sign out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, comments on the YouTube videos show engagement with the video and help the channel grow. Thank you for allowing us to serve as your Net Control this evening. Good night, everyone. My name is Justin. This is Atlanta 946, WQIR 514.
This is Atlanta 255, WSAM 586.
I am WRWM 344, Blue Ridge 63. My name is Mike.
And Atlanta 750, WRMR 367. My name is Jeff.
We are North Georgia GMRS Network.
And we are clear. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.